Welcome back to Hoop Lockdown. Patrick Beverly just got arrested in Texas on a third-degree felony charge, and the details that came out are absolutely wild. We're talking about a serious assault charge involving family violence, a $40,000 bond, and a story that nobody saw coming. The former NBA guard was taken into custody in Fort Bend County early Friday morning, and the internet immediately went crazy trying to figure out what happened. But here's where it gets interesting. The charge wasn't just simple assault, it was assault on a family member with the added detail of impeding breath or circulation. That's the kind of language that makes people ask serious questions. Pat Bev posted bond and got released, but the damage to his reputation might already be done. He immediately took to social media telling everyone not to believe what they see on the internet, and honestly, after hearing what his attorney had to say, you might understand why he said that. His lawyer dropped a statement that completely changed how people were looking at this situation. Turns out Pat Bev arrived at a family home in the middle of the night and found his underage sister alone with an 18-year-old man. His attorney made it clear that Beverly has no criminal record and cares deeply about his little sister, who's still a minor. Any brother walking into that situation would be concerned, and apparently things escalated quickly from there. The lawyer is saying they don't believe what followed happened the way it's been described, and they're ready to fight this case in court. But here's the problem. That charge specifically mentions impeding breath, which could mean he grabbed someone by the neck or throat. Was it his sister? Was it the guy? Nobody knows yet, and that detail is going to be crucial when this goes to trial. The public is completely split on this one. Some people are saying Pat Bev was just being a protective older brother doing what anyone would do. Others are pointing out that a third-degree felony is no joke, and you can't just put your hands on people even if you're upset. But what makes this whole situation even crazier is the timing. This arrest comes just days after Pat Bev made some seriously controversial comments on his podcast that had the entire NBA world talking. He and Jason Williams were on his show discussing Klay Thompson, and they started making crude suggestions about Megan Thee Stallion ruining Klay's game. The language they used was disgusting, and Klay Thompson himself fired back publicly, calling their comments disturbing. Pat Bev's podcast has been creating drama for months now, and people have been telling him to worry about his own life instead of commenting on everyone else's. Looks like they might have had a point. And the Klay situation wasn't even the first time Pat Bev stirred up unnecessary beef this year. Earlier in the season, he went after Trae Young hard, questioning his leadership, his career, and basically calling him an empty stats guy who doesn't know how to win. Trae didn't take that lying down. He dropped a nearly 12-minute response video absolutely destroying every single one of Pat Bev's arguments. Trae pointed out that Beverly played alongside LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Kawhi Leonard at different points in his career, but only made it to the conference finals once he basically exposed Pat Bev as someone who talks a big game but doesn't have the resume to back it up. Even Kevin Durant jumped in and called Beverly delusional. The pattern here is obvious. Pat Bev has been running his mouth about everyone, burning bridges left and right, and now his own life is falling apart while he's busy criticizing others. Let's talk about how bad things have gotten for him recently, because this arrest is just the latest chapter in a series of disasters. His last NBA game was back in May with the Milwaukee Bucks, and he got thrown out for one of the most embarrassing incidents you'll ever see. After losing a playoff game, he threw a basketball and hit a female Pacers fan directly in the head. Then he did it again to another fan, but it didn't stop there. When an ESPN reporter tried to ask him questions, he refused to answer and physically pushed her microphone away. The league hit him with a 4-game suspension that he still hasn't served because no NBA team wanted to sign him this season. He tried to play in Israel, but that ended in disaster too. He got suspended and eventually cut from his team in February, and now those Pacers fans are suing him for emotional distress and pain. His reputation is completely destroyed. Here's a guy who had a solid 12-year NBA career, 3 all-defensive team selections, known as one of the best perimeter defenders of his generation, but he was also known for dirty plays, constant confrontations, and being a pest to everyone around him. Now at 37 years old, his playing career is basically over. No NBA team wants to touch him. His podcast was supposed to be his next chapter, but instead of building a brand, he's just creating more enemies and more drama. From NBA player to podcaster, catching felony charges and getting sued by fans. That's not the career trajectory anyone wants. And with multiple controversies happening at the same time, you have to wonder if there's any way back for him. So what happens next? Pat Bev has a serious legal battle ahead of him. Third-degree felonies in Texas can carry sentences anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison if convicted. His attorney is confident they can fight this, but the charge involving impeding breath makes it serious no matter how you look at it. He's still got that 4-game NBA suspension hanging over his head if any team ever decides to give him another chance. The lawsuit from those Pacers fans is moving forward, and they're seeking real damages. His reputation with current players is shot after all the podcast drama, and his brand, which he was trying to build through media, is now associated with controversy and legal trouble instead of basketball insight. The question everyone's asking is, can he actually come back from all of this? Pat Bev ended his social media post asking people to pray for his family, and honestly, the situation with his sister is complicated. A lot of people understand the protective instinct that kicks in when you find your underage sister with a grown man in the middle of the night. That's a situation that would make any brother react strongly, but the law doesn't care about your intentions when you cross certain lines, and a felony assault charge with impeding breath is one of those lines. His track record of throwing basketballs at fans, pushing reporters, and constantly getting into conflicts isn't going to help him in court. From being a defensive pest on the court to a podcaster caught up in legal drama off it, Pat Bev's fall has been steep and fast. His next court date will reveal more details about exactly what happened that night, but right now his future in basketball looks darker than it's ever been. This is a reminder that the decisions you make off the court matter just as much, if not more, than anything you do on it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Was Pat Bev just protecting his sister, or did he cross the line? Do you think any NBA team will ever give him another chance after everything that's happened? And should his podcast comments about other players matter when we're judging the situation? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because we'll be following this story as more details come out. Until next time, peace.